Walters. This is Locked Up Sports, American League Division Series, Yankees Game 3 preview pregame show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. If you're watching, wherever you're watching, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on X or Twitter, just make sure you click that subscribe button and follow us, follow our Facebook page and everything like that. And listen, the Yankees, is it elimination day? You know how I feel about that, right? I would like to see it be elimination day. But listen, the Yankees have gotten blown out in the first two games of this series. It wasn't even really competitive, and you can't even deny that. So much so that some Yankee fans and even the Yankees are even talking about maybe the Toronto is cheating, right? Maybe they're cheating a little bit. Maybe they're getting a sign somewhere, which I think is just a complete cop-out. And if you're somebody who thinks that the Blue Jays are cheating just because the Yankees are getting run over in the first two games of this series, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's ridiculous. It really is. Because, first of all, there's no more signs, right? Nobody gives signs. The catchers don't give signs. It's all, pitch comm stuff. So unless they're tapping into the frequency, and to me, it's ridiculous. It's just it's a sore loser mentality. So don't be one of those people who sits there and says, well, I think they're cheating because they're hitting so well and they're killing us, right? No, don't be that guy. Really, or that girl. Don't do it. It's not really, it's not a good look for the Yankees. Now, if you want something to hang your hat on here, the Yankees are playing well at home, right? Home sweet home. They're playing, including the postseason. The Yankees are 9-1 in their last 10 games at home. They're 11-3 in their last 14 games at home, and they are 15-4 in their last 19 games at home at Yankee Stadium in the postseason. So you got that going for you, right? Other than that, you've been basically blown out here in the first two games. Your pitching has been terrible. Fried, who's supposed to be your ace, came out and he gave up 8 or 9 runs, I think it was, and then Guerrero hit the grand slam, which, listen, whether you're a Yankee fan or not, one of the cooler grand slams you will ever see, right? When he hit that grand slam, that was just a picture perfect. The swing, the bat flip, the crowd, everything. I mean, like I said, as a Yankee hater myself, I loved it, but I think you could take solace in the fact that it was pretty good. But hey, listen, its season lies on Carlos Rondon tonight against Shane Bieber. Rondon 18-9 with a 3.09 ERA. He's pitched well, but tonight I don't think it's gonna be about the pitching. I think it's completely about the offense. I think the Yankees got to score a bunch of runs. You're not going to win this. This is not going to be a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game. It's not going to happen like that. Rondon is going to have to. He's going to have to keep them silent in the first, second, and third inning. The Yankees got to get a lead in this game. You can't fall behind, because once you fall behind in this game, it's going to start, mounting, and the crowd's going to get nervous. It's going to get quiet at Yankee Stadium, and it's just going to be. It could, the momentum could just completely stay with Toronto. You got to get the momentum back if you're the Yankees. You got to score a couple runs in the first inning. You need Rondon to keep them off the board, keep the Blue Jays off the board. This Blue Jays offense is very potent, as you've seen over the last 23-8. You lost in the first. Those are not postseason numbers. It's just not the way postseason games generally go. So you got to keep them off the board. You got to get the lead early, and you got to be able to hold them at bay. You're not going to, like I said, they're going to score 4 or 5 runs. The Yankees are going to need to score probably 6 or 7 runs in this game. And now, just a quick, if you guys want to call in, just scan the QR code. I'm by myself today. Brett's at work, so it's just me. So I'll take anybody's calls. Anybody want to talk about the game? Give me what you think's going to happen. Do you think Rondon's going to be able to hold down this Blue Jay lineup? Who knows? But the Yankees have played well at home in the postseason recently. Like we said, they want to get it to tomorrow, where Schlittler will get another crack at it. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to pitch duplicate what he did against the Red Sox, but you never know. You never know. So maybe he does get it, maybe he doesn't. But let's get to let's get here to the Yankee lineups. Let me just pull that up here. 1 second. Where is it? There it is. Hold on 1 second. And starters. Where is it? So the Yankee lineup here is. Oh, hold on. Yankee lineup for tonight. It's much of the same, right? Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, Bellinger in left field hitting third. Ben Rice is your cleanup hitter. He's been hitting well. Giancarlo Stanton, who I think would look to get a good game. You know, you get a home run from Stanton tonight. You want one from Judge. You haven't got one from Judge, and we're going to get to Judge in just a minute about whether he's having a good postseason or a bad postseason. He's come up small in some big spots, but he has the numbers that says he's pitching, that says he's playing excellent in this postseason. So back to the lineup: Chisholm, and then McMahon, Volpe, Wells, and Rondon on the mound. So I mean, you're going to need to get some runs out of this lineup. You're going to need to get rallies. You're going to need to get a home run or two. Keep the crowd in it, because if the Yankees fall behind, and they fall behind, 2-0 in the first inning, or it's 4-1 in the fourth or fifth inning, you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to be in big trouble. Bieber will keep the Yankees at bay. They've been slumping generally, right? They came back. I hate to make this comparison, but they kind of looked like the Jets, right? In the second game of that the other day, they're down 13-0. The game's long over, and then they start to play. They mount the comeback, and they get it to 13-7, and that's where it ends up. And it's a blowout. It was a blowout. You didn't stand a chance in either of those games. And listen, maybe Toronto's just better than you, right? Toronto has played the Yankees tough all season. They swept them in July. The Yankees have had trouble playing in Toronto. Do I think the Yankees are going to be able to come back here? I don't. I really don't. Because what's shown you here that they're able to come back in a series like this? The Toronto is much better than the Boston Red Sox. Much better team. And the Yankees needed, Schlittler to come out in a decisive Game 3 and pitch the game of his life. And he did. He did that. Now, if you can get to Schlittler tomorrow, you got a chance. You got a chance to get it to 5 and get it to that decisive game back in Toronto. But I think even if the Yankees win these two games, I don't think they win in Toronto. They've had trouble there the whole time. Well, probably because they're cheating, right? But listen, it's going to be tough for the Yankees. They really dug themselves a hole here, and I don't think this Yankee team, is good enough to be able to come back and just beat these Blue Jays. They haven't done it all season. They played well at home against them. That's why I wouldn't, count them out tonight. But I think that whoever scores first has a huge advantage in this game. I don't think either of these pitchers are going to make it into the sixth inning, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a bullpen game. We know the Yankees bullpen struggles. We know it's had struggles basically the whole season. Everybody was focused on Volpe and his errors and the fact that he wasn't hitting, and they were blowing up about that. But a lot of people forgot about the fact that the Yankees bullpen is suspect. And it's been suspect all season. And this game is going to end up in the bullpen, I'm telling you, because Toronto's got too powerful of an offense. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to score runs. You're not winning this thing, 2-1, 3-2. It's not going to happen. But we'll see if the Yankees can do it. Here's the lineup. That's the lineup right there. We got it right there in front of you. And listen, you got, it's 8 o'clock. Elsewhere, there's another game going on. Well, it hasn't started yet. It looks like they're about to get going in Detroit. 1-1 series tied. Detroit and Seattle. That's the only series that isn't 2-0. And then the Dodgers last night, they take a deep breath because they almost blew that ninth inning lead, that 3-run lead. If it wasn't for some shoddy base running by the Phillies and some bad bunts, they would have blown that lead. That's the Dodgers held on for dear life. Milwaukee is up 2-0 on the Cubs. The Cubs are kind of in the same situation that the Yankees are in. They haven't been scoring runs. They're going into a slump at the wrong time. And the question is like with Judge, is he having a good postseason? Do you Yankee fans consider him having a good postseason? He's got the numbers. He's hitting, 444. He's got a couple RBIs. He had an RBI in the last game. He had an RBI hit, but that was a meaningless RBI, right? You're down 13-5 or whatever it was when he got the hit. Now you go into this game and you go back to games against Boston and at game 1, and he strikes out with the bases loaded. Don't forget the Yankees have had the bases loaded with nobody out twice in this postseason, and they've scored a total of 1 run. That's pitiful. The offense doesn't come up with big hits. Does Judge get credit for having a good average in this postseason and then really hitting well? Or do you need him to, does he have to step up and win these games for him? Now, if he comes back and he gets a big home run tonight, and then he gets an RBI double in, tomorrow night, and he forces this to game 5, and then, you could build the lore of Judge in the postseason. But as of right now, I think he's come up small because he had big opportunities with the bases loaded. He struck out. He had a big opportunity in game 1 with the bases loaded, struck out. Because that game 1 wasn't a blowout like game 2 was. Game 2 was over from the get-go, right? It was just double. It was 5-0, and then it was 9-0 before you blinked an eye, and then Guerrero hits the grand slam, and it's just over. It's out of hand. Game 1 was a little different. It was tight. It was a tight game until like the 6th or 7th inning. Then the Yankees the bullpen imploded, which is something that could very well happen tonight. The bullpen imploded, and they ended up, giving up a ton of runs, and they let the one guy, I forget who it was, take the hit and really give up, 4 or 5 runs. And the Yankees bullpen is gonna be rested. The Toronto's bullpen is rested. You need Rondon. I don't think you're looking for like a Schlittler type performance with Rondon here. I really don't. I think if you could get 5 good innings out of him or 4 good innings out of him, you'd be more than happy. More than happy. So the Tigers just about to get underway with the Mariners. Game 3 there. 1-1 series tied, and those are the 2 games tonight because now they split the series, so it's going to be 2 one night, 2 the other. National League and American League is how they're going to go. But Aaron Judge, like we said, I don't know what you think about it. Look, he's got 18 at-bats. It's such a small sample size to be judging these guys on the postseason. And I know that there's nothing you can do about it if you judge. You're gonna be judged on the postseason and how you perform in these games. But if you just hit, and he's not slumping. He's not. Look, he's got a 444 average. He's got 2 RBIs. He's got a good OPS. What do you want? You want the home runs, right? You want the home runs and you want the hits in the clutch spots, like Jeter used to get and like Bernie used to get. And those teams, because these Yankee fans, that's what they compare you to. If you're Judge, you're going to forever be compared to those 90s dynasties. Whether you like it or not, whether it's fair or not, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be compared to those teams because that's the last dynasty. It's been a long time since the Yankees have won anything in the World, as far as World Series go. So it should be, listen, you got to keep the crowd in it. I don't think home field advantage is really a big thing with the crowd, but I think it is kind of in this series, right? Toronto's rocking that place. When they close the roof, it's extreme. One of the loudest places. It's almost like a 12th man in Seattle in the NFL. Yankee Stadium can rock too. Now it's going to be rocking tonight, but if Rondon goes out there and he gives up 3 runs in the first 3 innings, the Yankees down 3-0, it will just go to, you could hear a pin drop. And then the nervousness starts coming in. They start squeezing the bats a little bit. It's just, and it goes downhill from there. Now, listen, Yankees got a tough hill to climb here. They got to get one at a time. They got to get one tonight. Then they got Schlittler tomorrow, which I think is not as big. He didn't pitch like that the whole season, right? So let's not pretend like he's a shoe-in Schlittler to come in and throw a 8 innings, 2 hits, and a shutout tomorrow, if it does come like that. That was the game of his life. And the Toronto hasn't announced. Did they announce it? No, they haven't announced a starting pitcher for tomorrow or for game 5, for game 4 or game 5 if it gets there. So they haven't announced anybody as far as probable starting pitchers go. But listen, the Yankees were only swept 3 times during the regular season. That was tied with the Cubs for the least amount of time, for the third fewest times being swept. Trailing only Cincinnati, which is weird. Cincinnati and Milwaukee were both only swept twice. So do with that what you will. But the Yankees, including the postseason, are 12-3 this year when they're trying to avoid a sweep. So they're 12-3. They've been playing well at home in the postseason. You got a solid pitcher on the mound tonight. They should go out there and they should win this thing. But again, it could creep in. The 2 games that they just played were just outrageous. I mean, they were outrageously bad. And the Yankee fans, and you can't even, salvage anything. You can't even come back with anything that I say about it because they were bad. They were terrible. The pitching was terrible. The defense wasn't good. They gave up the home runs. They couldn't get hits with runners in scoring position. The Yankees could do nothing against the game one starter, and then in game two, it, like I said, it just blew up like real quick, and the Yankees fell behind. And so now when you look at, like we said, we went over Judge. Judge, 18 at bats, he's hitting 444. Is he having a good postseason, or is he not? Are you gonna, if the Yankees lose tonight and Judge goes 2 for 4, and he strikes out with runners on second and third in the in late in the game, do you consider this a good post? He'll be over 400 for the postseason. He'll have no home runs. He'll still have 2 RBIs. Do you consider this a good postseason, an acceptable postseason, or is Judge going to get killed? I think he gets killed because I think Judge is the leader of this team, and he has to come through in the clutch when the runners are in scoring position. He has to get hits. He can't be striking out. He had some ugly strikeouts in big spots in this postseason so far, and I just don't. And I just don't think he's going to get any credit for it unless he hits a big home run. Judge is there to hit home runs. Listen, he hits 60 home runs. He hits 50 something home runs. He drives in 100 something runs every year. He's got 2 RBIs now in 5 games. Yeah, he's got some hits, but he's got 2 RBIs in 5 games. And on the other side, you got Guerrero, and look what Guerrero's doing. Again, such a small sample size, but that's what the postseason is. Whether you'd never look at 9 at bats and try and judge something, right? He's hitting 667. He's got 2 home runs. He's got a grand slam. He's got 6 RBIs. His OPS is almost 2. Guerrero is having the series and the postseason that Judge has to have, and he simply hasn't had it. He hasn't had it this year. He hasn't had it last year. He's had some big home runs, right? He hit the big home run in, I think, game 1 of the World Series last year. They ended up obviously losing that game. But, he hasn't had this right here, what you're looking at with Vladimir Guerrero. And it's only 9 at bats. Again, in a tiny sample size. 9 at bats, 667, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Judge in 18 at bats is 200 points less than the batting average, 2 home runs less, and 4 RBIs less. And he hasn't been a difference maker. Vladimir Guerrero, you could pinpoint the at bats where he's affected this series and made this series just, a Toronto blowout. So we'll see what the Yankees can do tonight. Listen, I don't know. I don't think the Yankees can come back in this series. I think Toronto's a better team than the Yankees. They've showed it during the regular season. Yeah, the Yankees made a late run. But, I mean, in the last 2 weeks of the season, the Yankees at one point were 7 games back. They made a run that and they tied Toronto. They lost by the tiebreaker. So they had the same record as Toronto, making that run. And they didn't get the division. Toronto won the division, and good for Toronto. And now they got the bye. They got to sit there. The Yankees had to struggle through 3 games with the Red Sox, and then Toronto came out, and so much for the rust thing with the bye and everything, right? Because they came out swinging the bats and just killing the Yankees like they did in the first 2 games. And Seattle and Detroit is underway. So after about almost a 3-hour rain delay, they're finally underway in Detroit. Game 3, 1-1 there. And like we said, yesterday was the Dodgers surviving and the Brewers, pulling away from the Cubs again. And I think the Cubs are probably done. I think the Cubs are done. I'm not so sure with the Phillies. We'll see with the Phillies. I mean, you're in a deep hole, right? You lost 2 games at home. You're headed to LA, and that's about as daunting as it gets. The Yankees are on the other, are in the same situation, but they're at least heading home. At least you're coming home to play 2 games at Yankee Stadium, right? That's a big difference. A big difference. So Carlos Rondon tonight, Shane Bieber, the Yankees just trying to get season to tomorrow, right? They don't care how you do it. They don't care what they do to get there. They don't care who has to pitch. It's all hands on deck. Everybody can pitch, right, tonight? Everybody's involved. Everybody pitches. So, we'll see if they can do it. And does also another thing, does this mean that Boone will be fired if the Yankees lose today? Now, if the Yankees lose today and they get swept away, right? They lose the final game at home. Let's say they lose it, not embarrassing like the last 2 games. They don't lose, 13 runs. They lose 6-3. Let's say. Does Boone get fired? Now, that might be a silver lining to this, right? For some of you Yankee fans, because I know the Yankee fans have been dying Every year they try and run Boone out of town. Every year they don't win the World Series, it's Boone's fault. It's Cashman's fault. They want them both gone. Cashman's not going anywhere. I can tell you that much. But Boone, I think, might be the Yankees fans might just get their wish. So let's see what here. The Back It Up Binge podcast says no way Yanks lose tonight with Rondon at home. I mean, you could say that, and I agree with it, but I don't say no way they're gonna lose. You can't say no way they lose. They've just been blown. They've been outscored 23-10 in 2 games. And it shouldn't even have been that. The Yankees probably shouldn't even have got 10 runs, right? 7 of those runs or 6 of those runs are completely irrelevant. They were meaningless runs. Now, I think the Yankees have an advantage in this game. Shane Bieber's not as good a pitcher as Rondon. Let's see if he can hold up, but I wouldn't chalk it up to no way they lose tonight. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's just Toronto's a good team. I don't think the Yankee fans give them credit. And I think it's shameful that you guys were sitting there saying, they were cheating. I mean, come on. That's a cop-out, Yankee fans. It's a cop-out. That's there's my buddy Anthony Alagona. What's up, Anthony? He gets on me all the time about the Yankees. He's right there with Back It Up Binge podcast saying, no way the Yankees lose tonight. And you can't say that because the Yankees could very easily lose this game. Rondon is good, but he's not he's not going to come out. I'm telling you, it's going to be an offensive game. It's not a pitcher's duel tonight. Rondon needs to keep them at bay in the first 3 innings. Don't go out there and give up 2 runs in the first, and then it's gonna snowball on you, and you're gonna lose this thing, 9-3. Don't let that happen. You got to go out there and put up zeros if you're Rondon in the first couple innings at least. And it's we'll see. Shane Bieber has not had a great year, right? He's had, hold on one second, let me just get the screen out. 4-2 with a 3.57 ERA. This is kind of their throwaway game. And the Yankees just need it desperately. It's 8:08 is the first pitch. It's on FS1. It's on 660 WFAN. It's also, I think, on Westwood 1 nationwide, or ESPN radio maybe nationwide. But listen, Yankees, backs against the wall. If they get swept, what are the consequences? Does Judge legacy take another hit? Does Boone get fired? Do the Yankees finally give their fans what they want? Because it's coming tomorrow. Yankees lose tonight and they get swept. It's coming. Fire Boone. It's Boone's fault. The decision making. Forget it. It's going to be endless for the next week and a half of fire Boone, fire Cashman. We don't get the players. We don't win World Series. It's a crapshoot, folks. The postseason is a crapshoot because when you're judging a guy on 9 at bats or 18 at bats, and you're saying, and over the course of the whole summer, he's killed it. He's an MVP. He's a shoo-in Hall of Famer, judges. But in these small sample sizes in October, he just hasn't come up with the big hit at the big time. He's gotten hits. He doesn't have the terrible numbers in the postseason. He did a couple years ago, but he's kind of slanted that the other way. He's been okay now for the last 2 years, as far as numbers wise go. But the Yankee fans, they remember the big spots in the postseason, and they're timeless. And when you strike out with the bases loaded, and when you can't put runs across, when you get bases loaded, nobody out, you have it twice, you score 1 run. That's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the hit, the double in the gap that Judge hit when the Yankees were down 13-3, because that's meaningless. I think if you want a name from me to have a big game today, have a big hit, Giancarlo Stanton is the name for me. I think Judge is kind of pressing. I think he presses. I really do. I think he presses in these situations, and it's different. It's different in the different feel. It's colder. There's more pressure. It's not a regular season game where there's just okay, we can play tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow if the Yankees don't win tonight. And it'll be another disappointment. I think, I have Yankee fans who in a group chat that I'm in who were like, when they were down to Boston saying, oh, we didn't expect anything this year anyway. And don't give me that. Don't give me the cry. Go out there and own it. They don't tell me that, oh, we lost because they were cheating with no evidence. Don't tell me that, oh, we didn't expect anything this year. Yeah, you did. You always expect something, and that's what you say. And now you have to eat your words if they go down tonight to Toronto. Me, I think Toronto's a better team. I think Toronto should win this series. I think they will win it in 4. I think they'll win tomorrow. I think the Yankees will probably squeak out tonight, and I think they might save Boone's job if they do squeak out tonight and get a win, and I think they will. And I think the offense is going to have to come alive. I think it's a little bit of a throwaway game for Toronto. They're they're throwing Bieber out there. They'll be okay. Toronto's more than happy. If they have to go back for Game 5, they'll be okay there. They are a good home team because they're cheating, right? So listen, that does it for us here. Just wanted to come out, give you Yankee fans a little smack talk, because I'm rooting against them, and I try to be fair on here somewhat on the show. I do try to be fair, but deep down, I'm rooting against the Yankees because, listen, it is what it is. And I know I have no business saying anything because the Mets collapsed. I know that. But I'm still going to do it. And I try, like I said, I try to be fair on the show. I try to call it like it is. But, every once in a while it does come out that, my dislike for the Yankees. And, that's just part of the show. And I think, and to be honest with you, I think the show's better when the Mets stink. The football team stinking is a whole nother thing because we have nothing with the football. It's not even Columbus Day and the season's over. So the Yankees try and extend baseball for one more day here in New York at Yankee Stadium, 8:08 first pitch. Season is on the line tonight. It's Carlos Rondon, the lefty, against Shane Bieber, the righty. Yankees been blown out, outscored 23-10 over the first 2 games. They played well at home. Let's see. Yankee fans, make some noise. Do you get nervous? Are you nervous? Do you think they're going to win? Do you think, let me know. Let me know here. Comment down in the comment section, whether you're on YouTube or X or Facebook, or I think we're even on Twitch, which nobody watches on Twitch. So if you have Twitch, do me a favor. Go over there and watch it there, because I think it's just video games that people watch on there, and they have no interest for this stuff at all. But, well, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see if it's elimination day for the Yankees, yes or no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Yankees win this thing. I say they win it with 7-5 or something like that type of score. It's not going to be a pitcher's duel, I'm telling you. Don't let the Blue Jays get on top first, because then the thoughts will start creeping in the first 2 games. And if you get a 3-run homer or something, forget it. It's over. It's over. I think the Yankees have to score first. They have to keep the crowd in it. They're going to need Rondon to put up zeros in the first 2 innings and somehow break through against Bieber. I think they do it. I think the Yankees win tonight. I think they lose the series in 4 because, well, I just think Toronto's a better team. There's nothing you could do. And then we'll sit and wait, and we'll see. Does Boone lose his job? Does Cashman lose his job? That's coming. And don't embarrass yourselves, Yankee fans. Stop with the cheating stuff. I know I haven't heard many of my friends say it, so I'm not I'm not pointing anybody out in particular, but I heard it on the radio. It's all over Twitter, and it's garbage. So just don't do it. If you're going to go down, just realize and say that you went down to a better team. And Guerrero, look at Guerrero. That is why I wanted Guerrero on the Mets last year. I wanted them to go after him. I wanted to get rid of Pete Alonso because Guerrero is young, and he's a stud, and he's a great hitter, just like his father. He looks just like his father when he's up there hitting. And there was no better hitter than his father, Vladimir Guerrero. So that does it for me. Listen, enjoy the game tonight, folks. Yankees, Blue Jays, 8:08. Tigers and Mariners scoreless as they head to the second. Rain delay for 3 hours. That game so the games will overlap tonight. That's it. Yankees and Blue Jays, game 3. Enjoy it, folks. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.